Good day, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. So once again, this is Nomad Fury, and we're back for another episode of the Nomads podcast. For this episode, we have a familiar face in which we have crossed paths in late 2021. As I have remembered, we had a live AMA in partnership with Comunitas back then. Okay, so our special guest is no other than the CEO and founder of the Vault Hill. So please welcome to the show once again, Mr. Jimi Daodu.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm really pleased to be on here. And like you said, it's like just thinking about it, like almost more than 2 years now, and it's like, wow, we're still here, we're still working, we're still building, we're still grinding, exciting stuff. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time. All right. And also, I would like to say hello to all of our subscribers and our viewers who are tuning in to our podcast right now with Jimmy. So, our agenda for today is all about, what is happening, the latest stuff that is happening in the Vault Hill, as well as their application in which I have downloaded it earlier. So, it's a virtual world. Okay, so let's learn more on how it really works. So I've got a lot of the questions in mind, regarding your virtual world. So Jimmy, are we all set?
Yeah, absolutely. Good to go.
All right. So before we get things started, I would like to remind all of you that this podcast doesn't constitute any financial or investment advice, just to be fair and transparent to all. So just refer to the disclaimer that I have right here in the video description. Okay. Now, my first question for you, Jimmy, is of course, who were you before you built Vault Hill? Like, how did you got introduced into the crypto, blockchain, and Web3 space, and what inspired you to create and develop Vault Hill?
Hey, this is a nostalgic question. So who am I? I'm a regular guy. I'm still a regular guy. So my background spans from technology. So first degree in computer science, a master's in advanced computing, and recently, well, I keep saying recently, in December last year, bagged an MBA to the mix. But professionally, what have I done? So I've always worked within the technology space of organizations within the Web2 space. So I worked at Barclays. I led the team that divested Barclays from Absa in South Africa. I worked for Expedia. I was part of the team that brought in Hotels.com into Expedia when that got bought. Worked at RBS, a financial service company in the UK. Worked at Coal Technology, a telecom. But my role in all of that has always been facilitating the conversation between the C-level officers that give me money to run a project to the folks that build, the developers, the QA, the business analyst, and then make sure that that works, and then when I have a problem, I interpret the technological jargons that my team tell me to the guys that are not too familiar, that have the money to say, hey, this is what's wrong, and try and make things happen. So I've always been a facilitator of technology and driving all of that in my previous life. And how did Vault Hill start? I know that was part of your question. So in 2017, I was at a Christmas party at Barclays, and one of my colleagues was talking about Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and I was like, okay, for me, I was a little bit on the fence because a couple of years later, a couple of years before, a friend of mine introduced me to the UK stock market, and I put some money in there, and it all went down. I was like, oh no. So I took that away. I did some research that weekend, and the top 10, I think at the time, XRP was one of them. And for me, I did some research on XRP, and out of all of them at the time, XRP was solving a real world problem around, cross-border payments. And being Nigerian, I send money back home, and I know the pain, the traditional institutions make us go through. And when I saw XRP was doing, I was like, hey, buy XRP. I was so much of an XRP army that I went to YouTube. I went on eBay and I bought a mug and a shirt. I kid you not. My wife is still not pleased with me because I got her to buy at $2. And that was the journey basically of how I started into cryptocurrency as a retail investor. I stumbled on virtual land at the time. Bought a couple in Decentraland, Sumium Space. They were like $200 at the time. Fast forward 3 years later, one of them sold for $10,000, and I was like, "Whoa, hold on, what's going on here?" And for me, it was the value. It was looking for that value that someone somewhere in the world would associate $10,000 with a piece of virtual land. And back then, as I grew my career, I started to understand entrepreneurship and understand, okay, how can we take this technology, solve a problem, and create a business? And that was the birth of Vault Hill.
Wow, that was an interesting story that you have shared to us on how you got introduced and convinced to jump into the crypto, blockchain, and Web3 space, and of course, creating Vault Hill in the end. And here we are today. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing that to us, Jimmy. For those of you who are watching us who are not yet aware, about his story, on how he got in here for the first time. All right. Now, for my next question, Jimmy, could you share about the mission and the vision of Vault Hill?
Absolutely. So we're on a path to revolutionize how experiences are enhanced with blockchain technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, and cloud computing. So for us, it's how do we enhance your experience? We're doing this conversation on Zoom today. We could have done this in the metaverse, right? Where your avatar is there, my avatar is there, and we're running around the place, and there's a balloon. Your listeners or your subscribers are in the background cheering us and make it more entertaining and more fun you know and that is what we're looking to do with all of what we're working on at Voltil. We currently have 7 districts, 2 of which are live, Vitality and Play. So the idea of the district is we've taken 7 out of 16 basic human instincts, things that make you and I human, things like vitality, idealism, play, romance, community, imagination, and curiosity, right, to bring all of them into this world whereby if you're an health and fitness professional, district vitality is your place. If you're a gamer, district play is your place. So for us, it's thinking holistically of how we bring in a lot of gamers, a lot of users, a lot of customers, and add value into this world. And that is our mission at Vault Hill.
All right, so that's an interesting mission and vision that you have shared to us, Jimmy. Okay. Recently, I have downloaded the Vault Hill app right here on my Windows. But my question for you is, do you have the exact timeline on when will it be available for other OS like the Mac or the Linux or something like that?
Hey, so I put on my no good question. I put on my LinkedIn yesterday the WWDC 2023 by Apple, and they've been inviting XR media firms to come to the event. I'm not going to the event. I'm in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia that week, so I have conflicting priorities. But from the words on the streets, they're releasing an XR device, price point unknown. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is, I think this is going to be the catalyst for mainstream adoption. And to your exact question, once the reason why we haven't really looked at Mac right now, and we looked at it, but we're like, hey, we know more native users of metaverse applications are Windows based. Let's get that market done first, right? And then with the Mac OS, let's tie that with the roadmap of Apple. So from next month, when they release more information, we're going to start accelerating our plans on that, and then captivating that market share that Apple has, with their users. So that is our roadmap for us in expanding, the current application onto more usable platforms that we currently have today.
Okay, I see. Because actually, I do both have a Windows and a Mac, but I only use Windows for now because I have a high specs CPU here. But for
Exactly.
Mac, I only use an old MacBook Air, in which that would be very like incompatible, for the specs of the Vault Hill, in which it requires a lot of high specs, right? So yeah, and also, speaking of the app, itself, could you share to us like an overview? Like if this is the first time that we are going to use the Vault Hill app, could you
Yeah.
share how it looks like, in the virtual world?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll summarize the user journey real quick, right? So you come onto our website, voltil.ai, and we'll talk about that transition from IA to AI shortly. Um, there's a terms and condition. Please read it, accept that, and then you download the app. You go into the app and you're met with a quest giver, right? So we've infused non-player character AI already in the world, whereby you go get a quest, and you play the quest. It's about going to three different hotspots within the world and taking you through three different experiences within the world as well. Now that's one thing you could do. The next thing is we've left the world open and we've created a no-code builder tool. So a couple of buildings that we've fabricated, we've optimized from a 3D perspective. You could actually go to any piece of land and start playing with stuff. You could drop a building, you could put a beach ball, you could put a table, you could start to look at how things come out in perspective. You could actually fly up and down as well and see how vast the world is. And then commercially, if you own a piece of land, you get 20% of the advertising revenue of the public space around your piece of land, which again is quite important and adding utility to your piece of land. So for us, we're looking at how we're not just creating the experience, we're creating a monetization model with the experience as well. So that's basically an overview of the user journey, and we're enhancing that monthly. So we're about to bring out another release next month. We're looking at multiplayer, so you and I could actually be there at the same time. We're looking at blockchain integration, so we can start creating token gated access. We're going to start working with communities that have NFTs that don't really have a utility, and then get all of their NFT contracts on their piece of land. So only if you have that NFT can you have access to that community or that experience within the world.
Wow, that's really interesting, by the way, especially that you have mentioned about owning a piece of the land. So, my
Yeah.
question is, how to get that?
Hey, so you could currently get it on the marketplace right now. It's live. However, I'll tell you to wait. We're about to announce a mystery box sale. I think that goes live next week. I think on the 1st of June. I'm not sure when. And in that has a piece of land or two. I'm not sure, but it's a mystery box. But definitely, some of our products and offerings are going to be in those mystery boxes NFTs. So I'll let you guys know that, hey, just wait, stay tuned, join our Discord, our Telegram, and wait for more information. But hey, if you want to go get a piece of land right now, just jump on our marketplace and do that right away.
Wow, so I would love to check it out, Jimmy, on how to get that piece of land, in your
Yes.
marketplace. Also, a follow-up question. Is it required for us to have at least one NFT before getting full access to the game?
No, no, no. So again, we've tried to make sure that we reduce barriers to entry as much as possible. The whole cryptocurrency space, blockchain, metaverse, it's complex, like we know it, and we're trying to enhance those user experiences either through the user journey, either through the products and services, either through the enhancements and games you come into play. So for us, we've said, hey, rather than trying to, you need to have a product NFT or you need to have some type of NFT to access, let's take that out. Once people start, getting into the world, maybe to have a conference call, for example, you need an NFT because, we need to pay for servers, we need to pay for hosting, for example. You start to amount some cost to it. So to your question, no, you don't need an NFT. You can walk in, see the space, and then come to us to say, hey, I want to do this. How can we do this together?
Wow, so that's a great news for us to hear that we don't need NFTs for us to fully experience this. So to all of the subscribers and viewers, so I know that you are very pleased on this, especially if you're from the Philippines, of course, in which one of the common problems that we always have when it comes to Web3 games is the entry barrier. It's a good thing that you guys it doesn't make it really hard, for us to
Yeah.
get into the Vault Hill and experience it. Okay. Now, I have seen right here in your website that you have a VR early access, I mean. Okay. Now, my question for you is how many participants are you going to accept in the VR early access? Is there any limit?
I think we had a limit, but we've removed it now. So when we started Vault Hill, and I've been very vocal about this, and I'm still vocal, but again, you need to follow the market and the trends, right? We started off with VR first. We didn't have a PC build, we didn't have a, build on Web 3D and all of that. We went straight to VR. We did a couple of partnerships and experiences. We built a NFT gallery that, you could actually immerse yourself in through the VR headsets. I actually have one here that we're doing for working on a oops. I think I spoilt it now. It's not working.
Wow.
I was gonna show you one of the actually no, I'll show you.
I have experience using VR headset in Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So this is
it's a
this is
different
one.
game.
Yeah, this is one of them.
Oh my god. Wow, would you look at that?
Yeah,
Branded
yeah,
a Vault Hill brand. Pretty cool. I
absolutely.
want one of those.
So it's still the Oculus Quest, full
Wow.
disclosure, but we've branded it Volt Hill because, again, it's part of the marketing strategy to ensure that, we're getting, out there as well. So that's one of the things we've done. So just to answer your question, no, there isn't a limit. Anyone can go and request access and see what we've built in VR and experience that.
Okay, I see. So you've mentioned that there is a limit. Okay, now let's say, for example, I am one of those who is going to apply for the VR early access. What is the criteria that we could stand out in order for us to have higher chances in getting to the VR early access? Or is it
Um, I,
just random picks only?
I'd say one of the chances is having a VR device, the Oculus or the HTC. There's no point having or requesting access if you actually don't have the right device. So that's one of the criterias. And to be fair, it's all random, right? We want to give people access to try things and come up with ideas on how to enjoy themselves. How do you create a safe space? How do you create a fun space? And how do you make money playing as well? So those are our mantra at Volta, and that's what we're doing over here.
Wow. That's really awesome. At least you guys heard it. You really need to have some kind of VR glasses in order for you to have higher chances to qualify for the VR early access of the Vault Hill. My next question for you is you have your native token known as the VHC. So 2 years ago, when we had our live AMA, you were guys on a sale period, right, of your VHC token, in which I still have them. Now, my question for you is, could you share about the different various use cases of the VHC token?
Yeah, absolutely. So now that we're starting to get more mature with the product, right? There's more compelling use cases around that. So one of the things we're looking to introduce next month is open-ended staking. So previously we've put staking for 3, 6 months. We're just going to leave it open, right? You buy some tokens, you could stake them now. Now we also want to tie our tokens with NFT staking as well. So you stake a piece of land, which no one is doing, and then you get rewards in tokens as well. Now that we've pivoted to Voltil.ai, each of the AI characteristics or each of the AIs that are going to be, landed, we're going to do an NFT sale where you could use VHC tokens to buy those NFTs and get 20% discount. We've also started our DAO strategy, and part of that is the more tokens you hold, the more you're able to participate in all of that. So those are our core utilities now. We're also going to do a token burn before the end of the year. Again, starting to see how we increase value. Now, I know a lot of our community members have been saying, hey, why haven't you gone on any exchanges and listings and all of that? And I'll be open and transparent. It costs a lot of money to be on a centralized exchange. It costs a lot of money to market. It costs a lot of money to get liquidity. We're in a bear market. Our focus is building and trying to pay all the developers working to bring you all of this great experience. So we want to time more token exchange listings based on when the market comes out, because there's no point spending, 6 figures or 7 figures listing on one of the tier one or two exchanges and not getting a return on investment. Yes, it'll be in the news for a day or two, but that'll be the end of it. So want to make sure there's organic token use as well. So those are reasons for that.
Okay, I see. I understand. All right. Wow. So, yeah, at least we've learned, for those of you who doesn't know yet about the use cases of VHC, at least we've learned from Jimmy himself. Okay. Now, Jimmy, in these years that you have built Vault Hill, could you share some of your notable achievements lately?
Ooh, um, so we turned two on Saturday. That's a big fit in the startup world. Surviving the first year is always challenging. We signed a deal with Wipro, the one of the tech giants, to bring in their clients into Voltil as a sandbox, which is quite huge. For those of you that don't know, Wipro is a really big consulting and servicing IT firm. Billions of dollars in revenue annually. There's a partnership we've just signed and we're working on, but I can't disclose that. But it is very big. It's something to do with one of the leading digital payment providers. I'll let you guys guess who that is. What else? What else have we done? We've been at a couple of events. We graduated from the DIFC Accelerator, one of the biggest accelerators in the UAE. Once when we expanded out to the UAE to service Asia. We've released the product in VR, web, and in PC build. So, that's quite complex and a good achievement as well. And I think, for us, it's just driving the numbers. The when we released the product in March, we had 1,300 users, jump in for the first time, and that is increasing. So for us, we want to, make sure we have more people coming in and more partnerships, more brands, more use case, and more value addition to the world.
Wow, so those are some of the notable achievements that you have mentioned to us. So yeah, congratulations to you guys. By the way, keep up the good work. Okay, my next question for you is it's something really important for us to know, especially those of you who are tuning into this podcast. Until now, one of the most common problems and issues right now in the Web3 space is no other than the cybersecurity, in which we have experienced, numerous hacking incidents, no matter if you're an exchange or a Dapps or even a platform. Now, how are you prepared for this? Like, there is someone who is planning to doing a hacking incident or something like that to your platform. How secured are you guys?
I'd say we're quite secure to the industry level. All our smart contracts have been audited by hacking, and I think all of them actually came out with a 9 out of 10 pass upon first review, and two of them came out, I think, 10 out of 10, if I'm correct. The audit reports are on our website on the VHC token page. But aside that, in terms of the digital assets we have, the token and the VLAN, they're all secure under a multi-safe wallet where you need 3 out of 6 approvers or signatories within the organization. So again, adding that layer of governance within the approval process, and then the rest of the tokens not being used in our treasury or being distributed are currently in a vesting contract that again is publicly available on Univest and Team Finance. So again, for us, ensuring security is key and foremost of all of our operations. And that's where the name Vault came from. The Vault is secure. We knew we're working on blockchain, and that's technically where the name Vault came from.
Wow, so you've heard it from Jimmy, guys, how secure it is their platform, especially the fact that you mentioned about the multi-sig wallet, right? In which it's also something that comes up in my mind lately about creating that one with multiple wallets, doing the approval before it goes through. Yeah, it's a great idea, by the way, in which you guys are doing that. My next question is something very interesting as well. How would you see Vault Hill in 5 years from now?
Wow, that's a huge question. Like, technology changes so much that it's hard to keep up. I think in 5 years, by God's grace, we definitely will be a unicorn. which is a billion-dollar valuation company and above. I definitely would see us being very more impactful in areas of healthcare, areas of education, areas of fun and learning, in terms of the experiences we build and what we give back. I also see us navigating into Southeast East Asia, penetrating that market. They're very digitally native out there as well. And also looking at Africa. Africa is always a hidden gem. People always go to Africa last, but for us, we currently have a legal entity and a couple of team members working out of Lagos, Nigeria, in Africa. So for us, these are the core drivers, in terms of growth for us at Vault Hill.
Wow, so let's look forward to it that 5 years from now, this could be huge because of your platform itself, as a virtual world, especially using the VR glasses. Yeah, well, let's look forward to it. And of course, my last question for you, Jimmy, is could you give us some reasons on why we should be using Vault Hill? Like, what is it for me and the rest of the viewers and subscribers who are tuning into our podcast right now should really use this platform of yours?
Yeah, so again, if you look at how we're building, we talked about the seven human instincts, right? So you could have a Louis Vuitton in community, you could have Twitch in play, you could have Headspace in vitality, you could have, Emirates MBD in idealism. We start to create multiple front doors for these organizations. So you have one place. So imagine going to Dubai, for example, where you have Internet City, Health City, Dubai Marina. You have various places, and that is why the value of property in Dubai is getting increased now because of how they built it. We've looked at similar strategies that work and applied that into the virtual world as well. Folks that bought their piece of land last year when we did a sale for $1,000, right now on the marketplace, those pieces of land are almost double. So again, it's the value we're incorporating, and like we say, the early adopters are the ones that rip the most. Now, like you said at the start, it's a disclaimer. It's not financial advice. Please do your own research. But I truly believe what we're building has immense value, and that's why folks like Wipro are with us. And the event we did with Wipro and built their Wiproverse had the Sheikh of the Crown Prince of Dubai, Sheikh Hamdan, in it, experiencing what we built. So again, what we're not trying to be your average Joe or play to earn game. We're building something serious here, folks. So get involved. Research. Look at our white paper, ask questions, join the community before you invest. Do that research of yours first, and if you feel you need to invest, by all means, the platform is open for investment as well.
All right. So at least we've learned from you on why we should not miss out Vault Hill as users. So yeah, let's check it out. All right. So before we wrap things up, Jimmy, do you have some parting words for our subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our podcast right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, keep tuning in. This is how you get information. This is how you check founders, you check founding teams of projects. This is your own KYC for us, for example. And the amount of knowledge and impact this podcast is creating is immense. And I think my parting words is whatever is difficult, whatever is challenging, keep persevering. The success, the light is always at the end of the tunnel, but it's not always smooth. You're going to go through ups and downs just like in life, but keep forging ahead. I think those are my last words.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our special guest for today's episode of the Nomads podcast. So we have the CEO and founder of the Vault Hill, Jimi Daodu. So once again, Jimmy, thank you so much for being here in the show once again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Have a good one. Yeah. And also, I would like to thank all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning in to our podcast with Jimmy. If you have any questions, so just post it right here in the comment section. And of course, if you want more information, so it's just right here on the video description. And I would really appreciate some feedback from you, whether if it's positive, negative, or you have some concerns. So just let me know right here, okay? And if you think that this video is quite helpful and valuable to you, Kindly do not hesitate or think twice in sharing this to your crypto and not crypto friends out there, especially those who are still enthusiastic regarding a metaverse, AI, VR, Web3, and so much more. So I do have a question for you. Did you enjoy tuning into this podcast? Has this podcast helped you a lot and gives value in any way? And what do you think about it? Just let me know right here in the comment section. So once again, this is Nomad Fury, and I'll see you all on my next video.